Are you a parent of an adult with autism who is trying to get your child to be more independent? Are there some things that they can do and some things that they just really don't even want to try? And you just don't know how to get started. If you are contemplating some of these questions, we might have some ideas for you, so keep on watching. Hi, I'm Eileen, special educator and founder of Let Me Learn. Join us on our reflective journey towards building independence in adults with autism so that empowerment, connection, and sustainable inclusion can happen. Let's learn together. The first thing you can do is assess how much your adult with autism can currently do and how much support they need in order to do it. For an independent living skills checklist, you can go to our website to download a free printable PDF. When you have the PDF, look under the different categories. For example, the category of washing dishes. And then you can ask yourself, how much support does my child need in order to wash dishes? If no support at all, that means that they are independent. Some support, which might mean that they need a little bit of a reminder to wash the back, wash the bottom of the plate, or a lot of support, which would mean that they need you to show them, they need you to help them grip the plate and turn it around, or they still struggle with a lot of support. And the final category would be that you have not tried this task at all. Next, we will look at categories in the order of importance. So these are things like toileting, hygiene and personal care categories, communication, home living, money management, etc. This is quite a personal choice as some people prioritize certain categories over others. I'd like to list out categories on skill sets they would need if they were to be living alone at home or to be taken care of by a caregiver. So this would be my list in order of importance. Toileting, compliance to simple instruction, basic communication, hygiene and personal care, home living, outside safety, vocational work, and work social communication. From there, I would choose a range of 1 to 3 items from the top 3 categories to start working on. So we like to start with something that they have had some success with but have yet to master. These would be things in the some support category, because starting with those allows for the adult with autism to feel like getting better at this skill is not too far out of reach. A good way to start off is to do the task together. If it is doing laundry, invite them to share in this task together with you, and you can offer for them to do some small parts. If it is washing the dishes, for example, then you can be the one to do the washing and they can be beside you to do some of the rinsing. And I wouldn't start off by being too picky about how well they rinse it. I would just maybe do some simple, hey, don't forget the back, but I wouldn't correct them too much because you really want them to just be interested in joining you. If it is something trickier like toileting, and this particular skill is something that they have always struggled to be able to reach due to a physical limitation, this might not be a good one to start off with, even though it is in a high priority category. You can always come back to this after your adult with autism has seen some success in other categories. So remember, the main aim of this is to invite your individual with autism to join in together with you to improve an area of their life and to see that they're actually capable of doing so. Now, if it is something like non-compliance to instruction, you can start off by extending the invitation, explaining why it will help them. If you're feeling some resistance, don't push. You may need some outside support, which we will talk about more in number 6. Next is to educate yourself on the growth mindset and also adopt it for yourself. If you haven't heard about the growth mindset before, it is a term coined by researcher Carol Dweck that describes a person's personal beliefs about their learning and their intelligence. People with a fixed mindset believe that you are either born smart or born unintelligent, talented or not talented. This ability cannot be changed. However, she found that individuals who possess a growth mindset, so people with the growth mindset believe that failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. I'm sure, as you can imagine, people with autism, by the time they have reached adulthood, they would have faced many failures and challenges. And those with a growth mindset would remain resilient and get back up again because they believe that they can. And those with a fixed mindset, we see often develop anxiety and self-doubt. So if you haven't yet learned about the growth mindset, I highly recommend for you to read the book Mindsets by Carol Dweck. Another thing that is powerful that we found for ourselves is to assess ourselves, what kind of mindsets we have, and to see what we believe about intelligence, talent, and capability, and learning. Sometimes we find ourselves trapped in a fixed mindset, and we find ourselves having to rethink how we process mistakes and failure, because what we believe is projected upon others. So as we continually are mindful about our own mindsets, our adults with autism are constantly watching and modeling after us. Dr. George Tilson, who wrote the article called Developing a Positive Personal Profile, talks about how dreams and goals propel us to take action in our lives. So motivation comes when the individuals do the things that they themselves desire, not when they are told to, or worse, forced to. So one thing that we do at our center is when we individualize interventions or come up with a specific action plan for the students, is we open up the conversation to allow them to share with us what they want. When they are able to articulate what it is that they desire, that is when we are able to break down for them why learning small and seemingly menial tasks can contribute towards them achieving their desires. Even if their dreams and goals are a lofty one, like I want to be an internationally renowned singer, our role is just to acknowledge their stated desire. So one of your career dreams is to do this. And as the discussion goes on, you may be able to help them see that these 1 to 3 focus items that you have chosen is a stepping stone. Let's say they say, I would like to be a cafe owner in the future, and maybe what you are trying to work on would be in the area of hygiene. You could say, your dream is to be a cafe owner. So one thing that you can start with now is to practice good hygiene and to give customers confidence in the quality and cleanliness of your food. So that's something that you can share with them. Or if they say, I have an interest in gaming, you can say, I see. So if in the future you get to travel for tournaments, you will need to know how to manage your own money. And we can start now by giving you an allowance, and you can manage and pay for some of your expenses. I'll tell you another story about something that we experienced recently. One of the parents' goals for a student was to have them reduce their use of the phone because they were repeatedly texting people, everyone that they knew on their phone, and they were getting complaints about it. That parent also said that their adult with autism did not come out of their room and did not help out much at home. So when we talked to the student of course did not want to work at all. They did not want to do any home chores. They just wanted things to remain as it were. So when we sat down with him and we had this talk together with him and his parents, we first asked him, what do you want to achieve when you send all of these texts to all of these people? What is it that you desire and what is it that you want to achieve? To which he responded, I want to make friends. I feel lonely at home. So there we could see that making friends was his goal. We were then able to help him see that staying at home staying in his room is not conducive to him being able to make more friends. We explained to him that making friends has all these moving parts, meeting people in an appropriate setting, not only online, to ensure that these people are who they say that they are. Having the knowledge of things to talk about when they are with friends. Having skill sets to maintain friendships. And this may mean having the skills to organize a hangout, have a job to be able to have extra pocket money to spend on outings with friends, and doing some form of work either at home or outside so that they have something to talk about, to share about, and they can also inspire and win the respect of their friends. So when we had this talk with this particular student, we were able to write it all out in a visual way, and it allows for the adult with autism to see it, discuss it, and also remember it. You may need somebody to come in to support, which leads me to my last point, which is to get someone to come in and get outside support. If you are a parent, sometimes you may be too close to your child or have too much history in order to come in and say certain things without being misunderstood. When you say you need to build up this specific skill set in this area, your child might hear you are not enough, which might not end well. So we encourage getting someone else who has a good relationship with your child, who is respected by your child, and who you trust to join in with this discussion. It could be a sibling, a relative, a teacher, a neighbor, or a psychologist. Prior to the meeting, you might already share with this individual what you hope would be the outcome, and maybe the 1 to 3 areas of focus that you have chosen that you really want this child to work on, and how you would like this person to help support you. Also, to avoid blind spots that could lead to the conversation getting into a negative cycle, you could ask this individual to share with you some of the dynamics that they observe. Or you could ask for help for this individual to step in if a negative cycle is starting to begin. At Let Me Learn, we've had this conversation with many individuals and families, and parents always seem to comment how differently their child responds when it is said by us trainers versus when that same statement comes from the parents themselves. So if you're able to get outside support, go ahead and reach for it. Within this conversation, it is important to allow your child to express themselves and taking into consideration their thoughts, desires, and you also sharing your 1 to 3 focus areas that you would like them to work on to come up with an agreed upon action plan to get started. It could look like 2 chores a week, and specify which chore and how much of that chore should be done. It could look like a daily hygiene habit that is being set up. I would recommend for you to set up a recording or accountability system so that you are able to track their consistency and progress, which will then be a good platform for you when you revisit it in about 2 to 5 months. So these are the 6 things to bear in mind as you start off your adult with autism on their learning and independence journey. So I'd like to know, have you done any of the above? Tell us in the comment section below what the outcome was. We love learning, so let's learn together.